So whilst I understand there'll be many people in our community who enjoy the idea of an extra public holiday or two, I'm not sure that it is a necessary top priority right now. And to be perfect, let me sum it up this way. I'd celebrate the public holidays if our hospitals were fixed, if there were no maintenance issues, if ramping wasn't out of control and there was no lead in the water at PCH. Then we can celebrate with a couple of extra public holidays. In the meantime, I would have thought this government's priority would be fixing our health system.
What have you heard from businesses? Do you expect some of them will have to close on public holidays?
Yeah, look, we've heard regularly and consistently from businesses, and we obviously a huge part of our work is with small businesses and indeed businesses of all sizes throughout Western Australia. In particular, the Easter Saturday public holiday is going to be particularly problematic for many in the hospitality industry. And the cost of opening on that Saturday with the increased wages, I know means many pubs, clubs and venues of that kind will not open, and that includes restaurants and cafes, because the additional impost of having to pay those public holiday wages is going to mean it just doesn't stack up. It won't stack up is the consistent feedback that we've got. So the real look, that Saturday public holiday is one that I don't really understand the reasons for. I mean, we have an extended stretch across that period. Everybody in Western Australia has been able to make their arrangements for a very consistent period of time, knowing that Good Friday is a public holiday, Easter Sunday is a public holiday, and there's a break on Monday as well. And it hasn't stopped West Australians enjoying our great state, businesses opening, people being able to make the best of both situations, closed businesses and open businesses, and it seems to have worked just fine. So I don't really understand the need for that extra Saturday public holiday in there. And certainly businesses have told us it will stop many of them from opening, particularly those in the hospitality industry.
And even if that opening, consumers want to pay for it.
Well, ultimately they will, that's right. That is exactly right. I mean, the government's own figures suggest it's around $150 million. The CCI suggests it's north of $200 million. Whatever the absolutely accurate figure is, we know it's significantly more than $100 million. That's $100 million in extra wages. And for many family business, for many small businesses, that is the difference between being able to make ends meet and not make ends meet. And we want to encourage small business in Western Australia. We want family-owned and operated businesses to be able to continue to provide that extraordinary level of service that they do for WA. And if their feedback was this is not good for us, it's disappointing that this state government has not listened to that feedback.
Outside of the small businesses as well, moving WA Day would see the Waffle Derby lose its long-standing public holiday slot.
Yeah.
And then if they were to reschedule it for the week after, as opposed to Mickey's birthday,
Yes.
that's competing with the big freeze.
Yeah.
What sort of impact will this have on the waffle?
No, that's right. And look, more broadly, and I'll deal with the waffle element of it in just a moment. I played on the Waffle Foundation Day Derby, although not for South or East Fremantle, for West Perth against East Perth, of course. And I know the significance of that fixture on the WAFL football fixtures each year. Many grassroots fans, many fans that have continued to support the Waffle, and particularly the two Fremantle clubs and the two Perth clubs as they used to be known, East and West Perth, they circle that fixture, they look forward to it, they plan family days, they're often the biggest crowds of the year. And so that now has been taken away, and yes, you could move it another week back, but then quite right, you're competing with the annual fixture that is the King's Birthday fixture across in Melbourne, and that also now is the Big Freeze event, which has become very significant. We know lots of people like to stay home and watch that because it's so important. Aside from that, WA Day is moving from that first Monday in June, when we know it was the date, because that's when Mrs. Dance chopped down the tree at the bottom of Barrack Street to mark the foundation of the Swan River Colony. And so we're moving away from that history and tradition, apparently because of the weather. And one thing I'll say about West Australians, we're pretty resilient. We've overcome a lot. We live in the West, we pioneer in many ways, and our spirit always endures. And so to suggest that we're not able to handle a bit of wet weather on our Western Australian Day, and that's the real reason for moving it, I'm not sure that I accept that. That doesn't sound right to me. I mean, that's not the West Australian spirit. We overcome, we endure, we get on and do things. And if it's a bit wet on our West Australian Day, well, so be it. That's when the tree got chopped down. That's when the Swan River Colony was founded. History is history for a reason. And in a sense, the West Australian government here are rewriting history. Well, who asked for that? And who said, because it's a bit wet, we can't still celebrate the significance of our WA Day? And so I think there are lots of reasons why that departure from that traditional June public holiday, notwithstanding the alignment consideration, I'm not sure that that's the right call.
Do you think it's unfair, though, that WA currently has less public holidays than the other states?
Well, again, I mean, I've been in this job for 6 months. I was the Lord Mayor prior to that for 5 years. I've been around Western Australia in a pretty outward-facing role for most of my life. And I've not heard people say, oh, we need more public holidays. I've never heard anybody say to me, we need more public holidays in any of the roles that I've been. Yes, I accept often alignment has been something that has come up, and I understand a desire to perhaps better align our public holidays with those in the east. But it hasn't been the burning issue. And I'll tell you what the burning issues are. The burning issues are getting enough houses built. The burning issues are fixing our hospitals, getting the lead out of the water at PCH, bringing ambulance ramping down, and finding enough beds for our aged population. They are the priorities. Nobody's walking around saying, gee, we've got to get those public holidays fixed. That's really important to me. That's not what people are saying. And so the real reasons for the state government bringing this on, I don't fully understand. I note that they're bringing them forward in the year before an election. We've seen these sorts of moves from this state government before. But the West Australian public, they're not mugs. They can see through any form of implementation that's designed for another thing. And as I said at the start, additional public holidays, nice to have, sure. Are they an absolute priority for the people of Western Australia? No, they're not. Health is the absolute priority for the people of Western Australia. AUKUS?
Henderson precinct.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to that?
Look, again, we welcome any significant investment into Western Australia, and obviously this is a significant amount. I do note, though, that this is a rollout that will take place over a 10-year period and beyond. So whilst it is a big number, it's not a big number being injected straight away all at once. And I'll also note that we are racing the clock now. 2027 is the first looming deadline when these facilities need to be up to a certain level so that we can accommodate the opportunities that will likely come our way. So whilst we welcome this announcement today, and the WA Liberals will always be a part of the Team WA approach for anything that adds to the economic certainty and opportunities for our future here in WA, I do note that it is a late announcement, that it is an announcement that is staged over many, many years, and we are racing the clock. And again, I think if you ask most people in Western Australia today, are they celebrating the AUKUS announcement that the Prime Minister's here for, or would they rather see our hospitals fixed, lead out of the water at PCH, ambulance ramping down? I know which one they'd prefer today. So we welcome it, but I'll celebrate it when the hospitals are fixed. How about that?